Hi, I'm Matt from Core Integrator. Today, we're going to talk about automating your AP internal control checklist. Let's get started. An accounts payable internal control checklist allows you to achieve the goal of strong internal controls. After all, accounts payable is one of the most vulnerable areas for fraud for any business, and errors or fat finger mistakes can cost your business money, time, and embarrassment. So having strong internal controls, proper processes and procedures, checklists, and regular audits is essential. So here's your AP internal controls checklist. Obligation to pay controls, payment controls, fraud prevention controls, and cloud data security controls. Let's review each of these and understand how AP automation makes compliance a breeze. Obligation to pay controls are your frontline defense against fraud and mistakes in the AP department. These controls ensure that the right amount gets paid to the right person or entity. This section of the checklist can be broken down into 5 specific controls. The first two are PO approvals and invoice approvals. Whether your organization does PO purchasing, non-PO purchasing, or both, POs and invoices must go through an approval process within the buying organization before payment is made. This allows managers to control their budgets and to address any issues with POs or invoices. But stapling an invoice to an approval sheet for a manager to sign with a pen is a recipe for disaster. On the other hand, with invoice automation software, busy managers and executives can see and approve invoices on any device from anywhere in the world. The next obligation to pay control is three-way matching. PO matching is the process of matching a purchase order to an invoice. Someone has to look at each item delivered, see how many were delivered, and what the price was. Then match that item and quantity from the PO to the item and quantity on the invoice. This is a tedious but necessary process. But now, AI exists that will match line items for you. It's called Smart Match, and it's only available on Core Integrator AP Automation Solutions. The next obligation to pay control is the duplicate payment search. Anxious vendors sometimes send multiple invoices for a single item. It's the AP department's job to make sure that no item is paid for twice. This is nearly impossible to do in a manual system. But AP automation solutions pick up on duplicate invoices right away and make it impossible to make a duplicate payment. The final obligation to pay control is data entry, which is one of the most time-consuming and error-prone aspects of processing invoices. But creating that control is simple when you implement AP automation. Core Integrator's verified data capture service will capture all your invoice header data with near 100% accuracy. And then AI will fill in the invoice description, approval, workflow, and even GL coding. The next type of AP internal controls are payment controls. Payment processes are the most fraud-prone aspect of any AP process. In a manual AP process, you'll need to focus on wringing fraud out of the paper check payment process. This includes segregating check printing and signing duties, secure check storage, requiring additional signers for higher payment amounts, and ensuring the person who manages the master vendor file is not an approver. If these steps seem antiquated, that's because they are. Full end-to-end AP automation includes automated e-payment functionality with internal controls built in. That's because nothing can get paid until the appropriate approvals have been made. You can automatically make secure electronic payments by check, ACH, wire transfer, or virtual credit card. Plus, e-payment systems include activity audit controls, giving you deep insight into payments both in real time as well as after the fact. So, if a payment fraud should occur, you'll know what happened, how it happened, and who was behind it. Which brings us to fraud prevention controls. It's challenging to catch invoice fraudsters and often impossible to recover money paid to them. There's no way to 100% protect manual processes against fraud, so constant vigilance is the only answer, and it's a poor one. But our AP automation solutions include extensive verification protocols to ensure that all invoices are correct, making it virtually impossible to pay duplicate or fake invoices. Automated and digitized invoice approvals mean you can easily create invoice approval workflows that adhere to both GAAP principles as well as best practices for fraud control. The final internal control for AP is cloud data security controls, which means that SOC 2 compliance verification is a requirement in your AP automation. SOC 2 compliance means your vendor and invoice data are protected in the cloud. Requiring SOC 2 certification puts in place well-defined policies, procedures, and practices. And of course, Core Integrator is a SOC 2 Type 2 AP automation provider. Here again is your AP internal control checklist: obligation to pay controls, payment controls, fraud prevention controls, and cloud data security controls. We'd love to show you how easy it is to implement AP internal controls through automation. So drop by our website, coreintegrator.com, for more information and to book a free, no obligation demo today.